Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh, why can't I?
Walking like you talk it, and talk it, going and shout it out. So tell it like it is, don't be selfish. Now tell me what you mean, be free, alright?
Welcome back to the show, everybody. I'm your host, Kiari Moon, and today I am super excited for our next guest. She has a voice like an angel. She's also been on professional theater in California and so much more. She has also dedicated part of her life to helping students of all ages and skill levels develop their voice. It's with great pleasure to introduce to you, ladies and gentlemen, the lovely Miss Connie Cairo Conway. How are you doing?
Fine, thanks.
Yes.
I'm honored to be here.
Listen, I am so excited for this interview. Listen, we prepared everything. We made sure that we went from the top to the bottom on making sure this interview was perfect for you. And you look amazing, by the way.
Well, so do you.
I mean, oh my God. Like the colors are just like...
Well, pink is my signature color.
It's beautiful on you. It's absolutely
you.
beautiful. So how was the ride over? How was everything?
Beautiful, no traffic.
No
traffic. Beautiful scenery with the farmlands. It's gorgeous.
Yes. Oh my God, I am so like just blessed and like privileged like just have you here.
Oh,
like
gosh.
this is
I'm
amazing.
the one that's honored, so
No,
thank
this
you.
is amazing. Like I am super excited, super excited. So, for those of you who don't know, Miss Connie, she is a lovely. She's like mama to me.
Oh.
I'm just gonna be honest with you. You're like mama to me. I remember the first time meeting you.
Oh my gosh.
It was at your house.
Yes.
It was during a vocal lesson, and it was just absolutely incredible. Like I mean,
very easy to talk to you, and also to have the honor of showing you how I teach my technique and work with a student. It was a lot of fun that day. Believe me, I had a great time.
Miss Connie.
It's very easy to connect with you.
Oh, listen, same. I feel the same way. I absolutely feel the same way. And we're going to talk about part of that too, which is, you know, how you go about, you know, doing your vocal lessons and, you know, with your students. I mean, I'm just ready to learn. Like, where's my pen and pad? I need some pen and pad right now because I'm going to be taking notes during this whole interview too. Okay. But without further ado, let's get into some questions, right? So the first one is, where are you from? Just for our audience, where are you from?
Okay, well, I'm originally from California, born in LA. But when I was 7, I moved to New Jersey. My dad got transferred there for business, and he worked in New York. And I lived in New Jersey for about 11 years, and then he got transferred back to California. And so I guess I'm a California native, but I had some really good training in New Jersey. So
my God.
that has a lot to do with my life of training.
So tell me, so what are some similarities between California and New Jersey?
I actually became more of an East Coast girl because of those years. I was 7 to like 18. And I would say spring a little bit in New Jersey because that's when it's more of the California climate. But California's weather, you can't beat it.
Oh my God.
But I love the seasons of the East.
Yeah.
And so I knew eventually I'd get back out on the East Coast. So, but I think there's more arts on the East Coast with New Jersey.
Yes.
California had some, but it's just the opportunities weren't as great as it was to New York. And I kind of missed that opportunity in my career, but made up for it in California at least.
Wow. I'm like fanning out right now, by the way. For the people that are watching, I'm like fanning out right now because like the Miss Connie Cairo is sitting on the couch. Like this is amazing. Like I'm smiling from ear to ear because I'm just so, because I love, you know, performing and the voice and you know all those things, right, of entertainment, and to have you on this couch with so much life experience with you know in that profession, I mean it's just
the training is so awesome on the East Coast, and then it was really hard to find better training in California, and it took me a while to find some good voice teachers out there, but I found them, and I really got the cream of the crop.
Oh my gosh.
So that's what was so helpful too. But yeah, so it was all good.
Okay.
you know.
Well. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so let's take it back to the beginning, Miss Connie. Let's take it back from the beginning. You know, childhood, upbringing. Like, what was that like for you?
Okay. Well, I grew up in a middle class family, and I was very, very shy, very withdrawn.
Really?
And so there was one time in 7th grade, the choral teacher gave me a solo.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I want to do that. I always felt that urge that I wanted to sing, but I didn't know I had a voice or anything. So he gave me Let It Snow, and I sang it. And when I sang it with full personality and acting. And
Yeah.
my parents sat there with their jaws on the floor, like, what? Is this our daughter? But
They were
felt,
shocked.
Yeah, they were shocked. And I
shocked.
felt at home. I felt safe.
Yeah.
It felt so good to be up there. And then after I get done singing, I go back to my quietness again.
Wow.
And so it was like that year, that choir teacher called my parents and said, you need to get your daughter in voice lessons. And they're like, really?
Yeah.
What, really?
Right,
She
right.
sings, but she has a very unusual singing voice for 12 years old. And so they got me an audition with the Monmouth Conservatory of Music in New Jersey. It was the top music school in the county. And the director, the owner, Felix Mulzer, auditioned me. And I sang in a basement of a church, and I sang I Could Have Danced All Night. And there's this big soprano just echoing through the church.
Wow.
And he goes, and he's from Vienna, would you like to study with me? And I'm like, okay, and I just didn't realize that it was something that big. And I came up and my dad had tears coming down his eyes.
Oh my God.
He didn't, it was like unbelievable that my parents were like, this is our child.
Right.
So I had private voice lessons from then on all the way to graduation of high school.
Wow.
And piano and voice. And I was in some operettas with the conservatory. And then every musical that came up in high school, even my freshman, sophomore, I beat all the seniors.
Wow.
I got the lead every single year,
Yes.
which was just a blessing and just a wonderful treat. I also did outside summer theater with the Barn Theater in Rumson, New Jersey. And there's
Yes.
some really big names that came out of there. One is Billy Van Zandt, who is the brother of Steve Van Zandt on the Bruce Springsteen band. He directed me in some children's theater. And then I did Sound of Music with Michael Mulhern, who is a pretty decent, famous TV, movie,
Are
and
you
also
serious?
Broadway. And he was my Captain Von Trapp, and I was Maria. So I did that outside of school on
Yeah.
the summer. So I didn't have the typical childhood
Right.
of, it was always study the music. I had recitals
Oh my
every month.
gosh.
It was very disciplined. And it kind of scary. It
Yeah.
got over the nerves too, because it's like, okay, I had to sing in Italian in a month, and I got to learn the Italian and do this for a recital. And so it really taught me a very strong discipline about eating right, sleeping right, all that stuff at
Yeah.
a very young age.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, that's absolutely incredible. Like for you to have that amount and level of discipline, like starting off, like
Right.
right out of the gate, and then you had like great people around you too.
I did.
to help push you. So age 12, you started the vocal studies in New Jersey, right? On which we touched on a little bit. What was the most challenging part for you?
At that age,
yeah.
Yeah, at that age, I would say memorizing languages and doing a monthly recital.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just intense. And I had to take music theory with the conservatory, and I never really liked music theory.
Me neither.
So
I hate it.
I'm sorry, people who
Right.
are listening. I mean,
Right.
you do
Right.
need to take some,
You do. You do.
You do need to take it, but
Yeah.
that was challenging for me. But I really loved it. I found out who I was through all that.
Oh my gosh. So what was the self-talk like? Because I know that there was a lot of, because I still do self-talk.
I
You
still
know.
do too.
Yeah.
I definitely, I would say that when my voice teacher, Mr. Mulzer,
Yeah.
was very strict with me and pushed me to tears and has his fist into my diaphragm.
Oh,
And I
man.
felt like Christine
Yeah.
in Phantom, sing, and getting the breathing right. I'd walk away and I'd go, I want to quit. I want to quit.
Oh,
No,
wow.
no, no, no. I need this. I need this. I need to thicken up my skin.
Right.
I need to be disciplined. And I know he's the best thing for me. And I'd
Mm.
say that pretty much after every lesson.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, you got to, do this, do this. And the rewards were great because when I did he wanted me strictly opera, but I like soprano musical theater, legit music.
Yeah.
So when I went outside to do the musical theater, all my training was like, no kid could compare to it.
Yeah, because you
And
were on top of it.
right, and
Wow.
so that's why I could beat the seniors and so forth. And but that reward was
Yeah.
worth all the hard work
Oh my God.
and the yelling at me.
It's important to have that self-talk, with yourself. When you're going through things or facing different challenges, it's important to like have those things that you say to yourself to get you through those
Yeah, you can
situations.
do this.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can do this. Like constantly reminding yourself and like getting, because sometimes you can get in your own head.
Right.
You can freak yourself out, and then you start forgetting words or lyrics or whatever because
Right.
you done talked yourself out of whatever you were going for, which is
Right.
we're always striving for perfection, right? As artists, as performers. We're gonna switch gears a little bit. And one of the questions that I have on here is, what is your teaching philosophy and approach to vocal instruction?
It's when I started 15 years ago, and when I thought about teaching voice, I thought I want to be the kind of voice teacher that was missing out. I wanted to grab the things that were missing and put it into my teaching. I wanted teachers to provide the music that would work for my development.
Right.
And they're like, okay, well, we can try this book or this and that. And then there wasn't any music given where I don't want the student to have to think about it. So I pretty much can evaluate each student and find out, okay, this is a soprano. She's probably an ingenue like me.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to give her
good,
these
so
songs.
good.
So that's good.
Yeah.
Then there's a character actress. And so I've done so many shows, and I love theater so much, so I know a lot about a lot of shows. So the character acting, I know those roles. So I'm like, okay, now we're gonna do these songs. So I build them. I call it their singing Bible.
The singing Bible. I love. Listen, that's amazing. Wow.
And so
Okay.
they have their own music.
No way.
Their repertoire of music in their binder. So this is what you guys need to know in order for you to be used for your auditions or so forth, but learn your repertoire of music
Yes.
so you're prepared for anything. And my voice teachers were like, well, what do you want to work on today? And it shouldn't be up to that.
Yeah.
As a student, I was prepared of knowing what I wanted to work on, but a lot of the kids don't.
Yeah.
And you're a teacher, you're trying to introduce them to
Yes,
these shows.
yes.
And so that was my philosophy, that I'm not only a technique, but to give them a direction of what their capabilities are
Wow.
and to give them material to match that.
Yes. You were literally like a GPS for the vocal. I mean, literally,
Yeah,
like
I mean, it's pretty much
navigating
probably
them
that's
where to go.
to help them navigate, because I didn't have that. I had to do it on my own, and it's fine. You want people to be motivated on that, but I find the kids more motivated and happy to get this material that's new
Yes.
and be like, whoa, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and it matches their voice, and I could develop their voice on it. And the other thing is that I was trained classically, totally operatically. I have a natural operatic voice anyway,
Yes.
but I noticed that the younger generation that truly want musical theater, which I wanted, I
Yeah.
truly wanted musical theater. And my first voice teacher was like, why do you want that? You should go into opera. And I'm like, no, I like musical theater.
Yeah.
Well, the kids that I do have, I can train them with my legit training
Yeah.
with the musical theater. Now, you can't do that with Defying Gravity from Wicked.
Right.
No belting. I don't allow that, especially when they're young. But the classic theater that's out
Yeah.
there, you can learn all of those things. So I teach classical training, which projection no one really teaches us anymore because we have microphones.
That's true.
Okay, but it's important because a lot of people want to bring the voice back, bring it forward. Let us hear you.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So projection and things like that. So I have taught legit technique
Yes.
through musical theater.
Oh my God. So that is absolutely incredible. I heard you mention your students, right? We have a photo. Can we get that photo up? We have a photo of your students that I'm so excited to show right now.
There's two
Let's
groups
bring
of
that
them.
up.
Yes. Oh, that was my last group.
This right here.
Yes.
Wow. So this photo. So tell us a little bit about this environment that you created and
Okay.
cultivated.
Well, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. There's one young lady on there that
Yeah.
just completed an off-Broadway run right out of college.
Really?
And
Which
she's-
one is that?
It's
Which
called
one is that?
Teeth. It's Jenna, the
Okay.
third one in from the left.
Third one.
Right there.
Okay. Wow.
And it's a musical called Teeth. I guess I'm not familiar with it. Don't even ask me about
Teeth?
the subject of it.
Yeah, yeah,
'cause
yeah.
I don't but anyway, really, really proud of her. And
Wow.
she graduated from Malloy College. She went from high school to Malloy College.
Yeah.
And she got into a national tour of Sister Act, and then went into this off-Broadway show, and it
Wow.
reopens again in the fall. She also got a big local Macy Award, which goes to the Jimmy Awards in New York City. I know people that are listening out there, they're probably familiar with some of the Jimmy Awards.
Yeah.
But she had gotten the lead in Kiss Me Kate in high school, and she had not done a lot of legit singing.
Yes.
So she came to me, and we whipped her into shape.
Yes.
And the voice on her, she came out with full-blown best female vocalist of California.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh my God.
With
I
her
mean,
legit
that
training.
is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, Miss Connie, like when I say that, like I've heard a lot about, even before even meeting you, right? I heard just so many great things about you. Speaking of great things, if you had to give them a message, right? Like, what would you say to this group of students here?
Just keep going for it before you're 30.
Keep going for it.
Keep going. I mean, especially the women,
Yeah.
and the guys, their careers are longer. Females, it tends to be, get to New York, go there, do this while you're in your 20s, because the theater in California is just not there anymore. And the shows are going to come from New York typically. We
Yeah.
had a lot of civic light operas and dinner theaters that were all professional with an actors' equity, and they all shut down, unfortunately. So if they want a musical theater career, yeah, you got to do your local theaters
Right.
and do all that, but you got to get to New York. And if you really want that dream, get your training,
Wow.
education, whatever you need to do, and get to New York. And that's
Listen.
what Jenna did.
Hey, get to New York.
Yes.
That's the get to New York. Another question on here, right? Can you share some tips for maintaining good vocal health and avoiding vocal strain?
Okay. Well, I would say if you're not in a show, always see your voice teacher or a vocal coach.
I like that.
Okay. Always.
It's like an off season for vocal. It's like
Right. Every time I
always
was done with
training.
a show, I was back in voice lessons.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Wow.
Okay. My training went from 12 all the way into my 40s. I never stopped, even when I had children and all that. The other thing is that you need to eat, sleep, and exercise like an athlete if you want to beat your competition.
Okay. Let me just. Okay. Can we clear up some rumors? Let's clear up some vocal rumors, right? When it comes to things you shouldn't eat, right? Okay. This is one rumor. This is what I've been told. This is what I just cleared up. Gummy bears. How do you feel about those?
Oh, that's not a problem.
Not a problem.
No.
Okay. Is it good or?
I think it's fine. It gets your juices going, but it doesn't create any phlegm. Chocolate's
Okay.
bad.
Chocolate's bad. Okay. Hot potato chips.
A little greasy. A little greasy. I don't know about it depends on your indigestion
Yeah.
of anything, how do you digesting it? Is
Yeah.
So, I wouldn't recommend that. Especially if you have
Okay.
to sing across from somebody. Pew.
Okay, right, that is true. Okay, the next one is just kind of off the wall, but onion,
No.
an onion.
No. No.
Wouldn't recommend.
No. No.
No.
I recommend apples. Okay.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Apples.
Yeah. Crispy apples.
Okay.
And you leave it a little chunky if you've got phlegm and let it go down your throat slowly. Lemon drops.
Okay.
Okay. Room temperature water.
Okay.
Tea, not too hot. Mine's always been room temperature water, but I'll go to that before anything.
Right.
And dairy. Stay away from the dairy.
Stay away from dairy. Oh God.
Yeah.
Guilty.
Can you sing?
Guilty.
You
Guilty.
can sing through all that?
I'm guilty. I'm guilty.
Yeah.
In the last one, Lay's potato chips.
God, you must really love potato. I love them too. I like barbecue potato chips. Lay's potato. You can eat them, but not before you're singing. Yeah. But if you're not having any side effects, you can do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna share a story with you, right?
Okay. Good.
So Miss Deborah Bird, she just recently
Yes.
passed. Yeah, the late
Yes.
Miss Deborah Bird. She's like the lead vocal coach for
Amazing.
American Idol and
Yep.
The Voice. And so I actually got to work with her back in 2016. And she grabs me by the hand. She goes, "You need something. You need chips." She's like,
Oh, I think
like-
I've heard her say that before.
"Yeah." She's like, "Eat you some Lay's potato chips
Okay.
and just eat them
Okay.
and just breathe and
Okay.
sing." And I was like, "Yes, ma'am, I got it." And so like before my show, I always have like a little small bag. You know, I don't overdo it, but a little small bag of Lay's potato chips.
But
I
if
love
it
her.
works for you, it works.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so that's fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But I'm talking about like you have to stay healthy and fit for theater.
That's true.
If you're doing 8 shows a week, it's intense. It's intense. It's wonderful, but it's intense. And you really have to live and breathe and eat and exercise
Yes.
to make sure that don't want your understudy to go on.
Yeah.
Okay? You want to
Yes.
make sure that you're always well for that.
Oh my God.
And it's a discipline. It really is.
Yeah.
So
So the other question I have, right? What can you recommend as far as like resources, like any books or videos or whatever, like to, help, I guess, for like when you don't have a vocal coach or anybody to go to, at home and just.
yeah, well, I think that if you want to get professional, no matter what, you cannot ignore going to a voice teacher, and because you need the stamina of the vocal technique
Yes.
in order to handle 8 shows a week. As far as books are concerned, what I personally use, and I know all my musical theater kids do this too, the musical theater anthologies.
Yeah.
And they have the backtracks and so forth. I don't play piano. I should have stuck with piano, and I didn't. But I have the backtracks, and I have them on large speakers.
Yeah.
And don't sing with headphones on. You got to sing
God.
outside your head. That's a big no-no.
That's a big no-no.
Because then you don't
That's
hear
true.
your pitch. You're not hearing things and so forth. But I would say those are really the only books that I use. As far as I'd go to master classes. I did a lot of master classes with people from the
Really?
Metropolitan Opera, New York City Opera, Chicago Lyric Opera, and San Francisco Opera. And these people were gathered together in summers. And my voice teacher in California, who is my favorite, and God rest her soul,
Yeah.
she had this festival of learning and performing. And these master artists would come, and you get on the stage and do your aria, and they just rip you apart.
Oh God.
And you stand there, and and it's with posture, it's
Yeah.
everything. It was the best training, and that's where I got a lot of the technique experiences to add with all my students. And that's where I have to say, not to pat my own back
Right.
and toot my own horn.
No, we're gonna toot it for you. Don't you worry.
okay.
We're gonna toot it and
Well,
pat your back for you. I promise.
It's having all of that feedback and combining it and problem solving what each student's vocal problems are.
Yes.
And for any student that really wants to do it on their own, I don't recommend it.
Yeah.
Your career will be short-lived.
Ooh.
There'll be bad habits formed. You don't really know what you're doing. You got to really talk to somebody that has done that.
Right. To lighten the mood just a little bit, right? I want to have you sing a little bit for our audience, if you don't mind.
Thank you. Putting me on the
a
spot
little,
there.
just a little bit, if you don't mind.
Okay. Well, I'm going to do my lucky song.
Okay.
Somewhere over the
Oh my God. Oh my gosh. I'm crying. I need a napkin. I need a tissue. That was so beautiful. Like, oh
Oh,
my
well,
God.
thank you. Oh, you're the
Your voice,
sweetest.
your voice is a gift from God.
Oh, thank
It
you.
really, really
Thank
is. That
you.
touched my heart so
Oh,
well. Like, oh
thank
my God, that
you.
touched my heart. Oh,
Oh. When I
oh
was a
God,
little
thank you so
girl,
much
I
for
would
that.
sing that. I would try to
Yeah.
imitate Judy
Wow.
Garland.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to sing like her. And so I used to think that's how I got my voice, just by imitating her.
Yeah.
And sometimes we do get, when we're really young and we imitate voices, it does develop a child's voice when they try to imitate it and try
Yeah.
to match it. So,
Wow. Speaking of children and things of that nature and family, we have a photo of you and your husband, which he's here right now in the studio with us.
our
Let's
blended
go to
family.
that. That's right. Let's go to that photo of you and your husband really quick. Can we pull that
It
up?
was like our wedding
Yeah, your
day.
wedding day. Yeah, I think it's a wedding
10
day
years
photo.
ago. Okay,
Oh my gosh.
that was okay. All right. I'm wearing pink today.
Yeah.
And I totally into Sleeping Beauty,
Yeah.
Cinderella, all that stuff. So I had to have a Cinderella
Oh
carriage
my
deliver us to our
gosh.
reception.
And your husband.
Yes, Sean Conway. He's a
Sean
retired fire
Conway.
captain from LA
Oh my
City
God.
Fire.
You know I'm obsessed with that show 911, right? I'm
Oh,
obsessed with that show. And every time I think about that show and watch that show, I think about your husband.
yeah, well,
I think about your husband every time.
he definitely did it for real.
Yeah, right. And I know he was awesome at it.
Yes, he was. He was
Wow.
definitely highly respected.
Wow.
Captain 2 with the LA City Fire Department.
So tell
Very
us,
proud.
what are some of the things that you learned from your husband?
Well, he's I think he's nicer than me.
So compassion, right? Empathy,
Oh
right?
my gosh, his compassion,
Oh.
his empathy, his nurturing, because
Oh.
firefighters that way, but when he talks to people, he's very nurturing, very loving.
Yeah.
Very, very loving.
Wow.
A fantastic father to his 3 kids. Incredible stepfather to my kids.
Oh my
And
God.
so I'm blessed to no end. So yeah, he's pretty amazing. Yeah,
I mean,
he's a hero.
Yeah,
he won't say
is
it.
a real life
He
hero.
won't say it. They
He
put
is.
his turnout coat in a shadow box at his fire station when he retired.
No way.
And he's a legend. So he had that little plaque under there with his name. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's there. And he
I
didn't want to
mean-
give it up, but it was like, what? What do you want to do with this?
Yeah.
And they had a little ceremony for him.
Oh
and
my
they put that
God,
on
that
there,
is
so-
amazing. I absolutely love your husband. He
Oh,
is
thank
just,
you.
I mean, just a brilliant guy. First of all, just talking with him like for 5 seconds, you're gonna learn everything. Like you're gonna learn so much in that 5 seconds. That's like I'm all ears whenever he opens his mouth
Yeah.
because he's so intelligent, so bright, so loving, and just such a caring person. I remember the first time meeting him, just like you, like I was just in awe. Like
Yeah.
he's absolutely amazing, and just y'all are just so beautiful together. Like
Oh,
I mean, this
thank you.
picture just
Thank
kind of sums
you.
everything up for me.
Yeah, well, we've been living happily ever after
Yeah.
since. And
Yes.
truly, we love living here in North Carolina,
Yeah.
and it's just a dream come true. Every day I thank God for my blessing.
Yes, and to add to more of the family stuff, can we please turn to the family picture, please, and pull that up because I want to talk a little bit about your family
Okay.
and about what they mean to you. Let's see that.
Okay, so this is my 3 kids. This is when
Who
they're-
is who?
Okay, so the first little boy
Yeah.
is Nick with the missing teeth.
Okay, Nick.
Okay, he is my second son. And then I have Will,
Yeah.
and he is my oldest. He's 34 now.
Aw.
And then my daughter Deanna is a law student, and she's going to be
What?
29 this year. So, yeah.
You did your thing.
Uh,
You did your thing.
Well, it
You
was-
raised them right. Oh my
they're-
God, that is amazing.
Yeah, they're really good. I don't have like a. They all kind of sing. I mean, my daughter's starting to sing more.
Yeah.
With some folk songs, and Will plays a little bit of mandolin, and Nick plays a little mandolin and guitar, and
And now, does Nick got his teeth?
yes,
Does he got his teeth? Oh.
yes, he has his.
He
teeth.
has his teeth
He's
back.
actually-
Okay. Nick.
Yes, exactly. And he's my singer out of them.
Yeah.
Because he and my stepson Colin were in Colin together, or
Yeah.
choir together, and they introduced Sean and I.
Oh.
They were like, you got it, because they were like, Nick was saying, you got to study with my mom, Colin, because my stepson has an extraordinary, brilliant, gorgeous voice.
Yeah.
And so Colin came with Dad.
Yeah.
So that's how that all happened. And but Nick is engaged
my
to
God.
be married in October, and then Deanna is just killing it in law school
Oh
in
my
Bozeman,
God.
Montana.
Deanna. Shout out to Deanna. Look, you did a wonderful job. I mean, this is. I mean, your family is just so beautiful.
Thank
so
you.
beautiful. This photo. I mean, just look at you.
Oh.
I mean, oh my God. You have not changed at all.
Oh my gosh, you
Like
are too sweet.
Jesus. I mean, you look the you look the
Oh,
same.
you're sweet.
And
Thank
pictures
you.
don't lie, ladies and
Oh,
gentlemen. They
that's
just
sweet.
don't. They just don't. Oh my God.
Well, we have if you have the blended family one, it was from our wedding. So we have Sean's kids. He's got, both our boys are
We're
the
gonna
same
pull
age.
that one up too.
Yeah, both our boys, our oldest, are the same age. They graduated the same high school, but we didn't know each other then.
Yeah.
And they're both 34, and that's Clayton. And
Yeah.
he lives in Portland, Oregon, and who I absolutely adore.
Yeah.
And Colin, who is really extremely gifted
Yeah.
with his singing as well. He came out here with us.
Oh, he's in
North Carolina.
Oh, North Carolina. Okay,
Yes,
okay.
so he came out here with us, and then Deanna,
Yeah.
she's 29, law school.
Right, lost. There you go.
Yeah.
Lawyer. Oh my gosh. Okay, thank you. Look, thank you for sharing that. So we're gonna turn to our online audience, right? So they have some questions for you, Ms. Connie.
Oh, how
They have some
fun.
questions. Okay, so here's one. Speaking of family, right? Nicole from Arkansas says, "What is your funny story? What is a funny story your family tells about you that you'd like to share?"
Oh my goodness. Well, my husband reminded me of one that he thought was funny when I was growing up with my family. That I sang constantly. I constantly would sing around the house, constantly sing with everything that I was doing, which my parents appreciated that I could sing, but it was a bit too much. And my mom would sit at the dinner table, goes, "Okay, no singing at the dinner table.
Wow.
Okay, you need to stop
That
singing
is
at the
hilarious.
table." So
is
that would be definitely one that I think back on being very silly. As far as my kids are concerned, they didn't get to. They have not yet seen me in a production. They've seen me in concerts and things, and but I think behind the scenes, I'm just silly. I've been silly with them. I'm a silly mom sometimes.
Right.
I used to do Mommy Monster, and they would like, oh, yeah, they'd laugh, and my daughter would catch me on video doing a very stupid, idiotic dance.
Yeah.
And now I do it for Sean.
Oh, nice. Oh, my God. I absolutely love that for
that's it.
you.
That's it.
I absolutely love that for you. Thanks for sharing that story. Another audience member, Daniel from California, says, "What was your favorite subject in school?"
Okay. Well, definitely wasn't music theory. I'm going to have to say, I think back to the schools in New Jersey. I'm really going to have to say English because it goes along with the drama. So there was
love that.
the plays and things like that. So because of theater, I was more drawn to those things. And I did enjoy the history. I didn't appreciate going to the different historical places in the colonies of New Jersey and the East Coast when I was younger. But I enjoyed reading about it. So I would have to say on those things, the history of the East.
That's interesting. That's really, really interesting. Another question, one last one, is what is one piece of advice you'd give to someone starting out in your career field?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't start vocal training until 12. Anything younger, and if there's any parents out there that think that you should give your kids voice lessons at
Listen
6,
up.
7, 8, 9, or 10,
Yeah.
the voice is developing. Just get them in musical theater shows that are fun and they enjoy it and they're singing and not screaming, no belting.
Right.
But then when you get to, if you have an unusual voice like what mine was at 12, get them into training at 12. That would be the youngest I would start. And dance. I could have taken a lot more dance. I was lucky I got leading roles that I stood there and just had to sing.
Right, right.
You know, but the dancing is really important today, that triple threat.
Yeah.
You know, and just keep doing as much theater through the community, through your school, and train and train and train. And the voice lessons must be weekly.
Yeah.
Make the sacrifice. My
Yes.
parents sacrificed a lot
You
to give
got
me
to.
private training, but it's really important.
My quote is always no risk, no reward.
Mm.
No risk, no reward. You have to be, willing to risk your, night with the guys or girls or whatever
Right.
to stay in the studio and work hard.
Right.
Speaking of mottos and quotes and things, what is one that comes to your mind? Any mottos or quotes? Things that you live by?
You know, I have one that my voice teacher, and I wish I listened to her more. She said, life is about choices. Be careful of those choices that you make.
Mm-hmm.
And she would always say that. Life's about choices. And she'll just walk away, And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I look back on some of the choices. Like,
Yeah.
I wish I could afford to live and be old enough to stay in New Jersey, New York, to keep my career going to Broadway instead of moving back to California with my parents. And I was a little too young. I was like 17, so I was a little too young. I was afraid. I was fearful. And don't let fear control your decision when it comes to the theater. You got to go for it.
That you heard it from her.
Yeah. Do not
You
let
heard it from her.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, do
That's
not let that
powerful.
fear. Because so many times, fear has stopped me on things.
Right.
And I can think of many things in my life. Don't just say stop. Just stop that fear. I'm going to go do this and I'm going to go for this.
I have an acronym for fear, and I'm pretty sure people out there have heard this, but it's false evidence appearing real. False
Wow.
evidence appearing real. And I always kind of keep that in the back of my mind,
Yeah.
like, don't let these things that are not even existent, like, control your path.
Right. Right. And that fear I had at 17 was like, well, I don't have the money to support myself. Because my father kind of made it clear that you got at 18, you got to have a job, or you got to do this, you got to do that. Because I didn't go on to college.
Right.
And I wanted to go to Juilliard, but my dad's like, there's no money for that, and there's no school loans. So do your training, and you can get there.
Oh my
and
gosh.
he was right. I got professional in California, so that was true. Either you're talented or you're not. Sometimes, a college
either got
degree,
it
yeah,
or you don't.
right. So a college
is
degree
true.
paper is not
It's
going to
true.
say,
That is
"Hi, I
true.
can be on Broadway now."
That is true.
You know,
that is true.
so
It's your talent and work
right,
ethic. Yeah.
right, and how much you got to train on everything. So I just had all these. I can't do this on my own, and I should have stayed in New York. And so I get to professional level in California, but I never got to Broadway. Never got to that Broadway. That's probably one of the biggest regrets that I have.
Wow. The biggest regret.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, there's some other personal ones, but yeah.
I'm sure we all have them. I'm sure we
Yeah.
all have them.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So production, are we good? We're good on time? Okay, we're good on time. Okay, they're not telling me. Normally they're telling me to wrap up and
Okay.
be quiet. But I'm absolutely loving this. So another question, right, is how do you create a supportive and constructive learning environment?
Well,
Because that's important to like
it
foster
is, and that's really
teachings.
how I'm very proud of what I created with my teaching and getting students to feel comfortable with me. I think finding a voice teacher versus a voice coach, and you know the difference between them?
Let us,
A voice teacher is one that teaches breathing technique and posture and vocal performance. They're really all the spectrum of vocal. Vocal coach is pretty much what I would go to now. I have all of that, and am I having any bad habits? They're going to look at you while you sing,
Right.
and am I doing this okay? And can I enhance this? They're more for the advanced singer. So you always want a voice teacher.
Oh, voice teacher
Yes.
instead of a coach.
As you become a pro, you're going to get to a coach.
Okay.
Right.
I love that. I
Right.
absolutely love
so
that.
that's really a big difference. But the
Yeah.
environment that I provide in my home, I also make sure that I form this friendship
Yeah.
and make them feel comfortable. And somehow I'm able to do that. They open up as down the road.
I mean, it's easy for you, Miss Connie. Like
Oh, you're
that's
sweet.
too easy.
Yeah,
That's too
well,
easy. Like
I
you're
really, it's really important so they can open up their soul to you.
right.
And you can get this vocal performance out of them because they can't just sing the song. You
Yeah.
may have a pretty voice, but you got to feel what you're
You
singing.
gotta feel what you're
And you
singing.
got to connect it into something deep. And so they got to feel safe in order to
Right.
feel that vulnerability in the studio. So that is pretty much I always provide their water. I go to their
Right.
performances. I always go over my hour for
Oh
everybody.
yeah.
I always do. And
mean,
and
just-
it's not, and I don't make it a business.
Right.
It's something
Right.
that I love, and they know that. There are teachers out there that just collect the money,
And keep
give
it
me a month,
moving.
yeah, keep it moving, and then I want it a month in advance, and I'm like, the
Right.
girls understand if they have a bad cycle that month, you call me that morning. I don't want you there. I
Right.
don't want you feeling bad at your
Right.
lesson.
Because you
so
must feel your
you-
best.
right. And so I give those allowances of what I wanted out of all my voice
Yeah.
teachers, and I had good ones.
Right,
but I'm
right,
like,
right.
I want more.
Right. Because
And
we can always do more. We can
Right.
always do more. Oh my God, just creating and fostering that environment of safety.
Right. That positive reinforcement is so important as well.
Yeah.
I mean, they're singing the song and go, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. And all of that stuff to keep them motivated.
Right.
Give them songs that they're motivated with.
Right.
know,
Like
and-
the powerhouse songs or songs that they sing in the shower or the car or whatever.
Right. Something
Yeah.
that they would enjoy and that they're like excited to do. You
Yeah.
know? So it's a very personal touch, one-on-one. Every
Right.
single one is different.
So, question for you: if you was not a vocal teacher, vocal coach, right? What would your other job be?
Oh my goodness. You know what? I would be lost.
Oh, it'd be lost.
I mean,
Wait a
the
minute.
music is just such a part of me at such a young age.
So you never thought about like, oh my God, if this doesn't work, like I'm going to do this or I'm going to do.
Well,
Was that ever a thought in
Well,
your?
when I did shows, and then I'm unemployed for the next show.
Yeah.
I did temporary work and I did secretarial work. Did I like it? No.
Yeah.
But I did well with it. I mean, I
Yeah.
could type 100 words per minute from my piano training and stuff. So,
Wow.
but it's not something that I want to do. It'd be something with music. And
Yeah.
if I couldn't sing or if I couldn't teach at this point, I think that I would kind of be lost.
What
I mean,
about-
I'm no longer a mom. So
Right.
if I had the kids,
Yeah.
then I was a full-time mom, but now I'm older and it's like, okay, oh, what should we do
Yeah.
today, honey?
Yeah. That is true.
And I don't teach as much as I used to. I
Right. Mm-hmm.
had a big following in California. I'm retired here with my husband, and I have
Yes.
a select few, and you know one of
Yes,
them.
I do know one of them.
And
Yeah.
he is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and so just to have my select few, oh my gosh, I just love it.
Yeah, because
Just-
you get to continue to inspire and to use your gift,
Yes.
to influence and challenge others. So I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's absolutely amazing. And I thank you so much for providing that, the safe space for people and the knowledge. It's
Oh,
very important. The knowledge is very, very important. Because education is one thing, but the knowledge is another.
Yeah. And the
And
experience.
it's important to know
that
the
experience
difference.
of performing.
Right.
I think that respect from the students that I've had, I've done it for real.
Yeah.
Okay? It's not someone that's just got their teaching degree. And I've done 8 shows a week. I know what it's like. I know
Yeah.
how hard it can be. You got to keep it fresh and alive. You got to keep that voice
Yes.
intact. And so that, and then the years and years of training, I just didn't stop that training. It's just 30 years of training.
Wow. Well, listen, I thank you so much for coming on the show. I know production is probably telling me, oh yeah, they're telling me to wrap up right now. Like
Okay.
I knew the cue card was
Okay.
coming. I knew the cue card coming. So closing thoughts. We always leave off with some closing thoughts for our audience members or for a family or for anybody for the show, right? Like, what are some closing thoughts to leave us with, Miss Connie?
Closing thoughts. Oh my goodness. Well, if anyone is, as far as them having a career in the theater or voice, I
Yeah.
would say just find a really good voice teacher that teaches legit singing And you may not like that at first, okay? It may be on the opera side. Opera is the best training for your voice, and singing in Italian, I think, is ultimate. And I didn't go that way. I went into musical theater, but it made me more flexible, and it'll make you more flexible as well. And just keep taking dance classes, take the acting classes, train, and get to New York City. It's the only place.
To New York City.
Yeah, it's the only place because a lot of the shows from New York now go to LA.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. I mean, it's been a pleasure having you here.
Oh, thank you for
Like
having
I
me.
said, I'm glad I'm able to record this and keep all my notes on file because I mean, you are just amazing. Your husband, thank you so much for coming on as well. Like I really appreciate y'all so much for doing this. And just empowering, inspiring, and educating our audience members and something for them to learn. So many nuggets, that you've dropped that I'm just gonna be just
good. Well, then you can come to my house soon and have some lessons.
I'm gonna hold you to it.
Okay.
I'm gonna hold you to it, Miss Connie.
Good.
I'm gonna hold you to it. Thank you so much for being here. It's been an absolute pleasure. Oh, before we go, I have a gift for you. A gift for you. So, I know you like candles.
I do. I love them. I burn them when we teach.
And I have something very, very special for you. It's something that I made. So I have a candle collection called Mallet Collection, right? And I want to give you this one.
Oh, thank
you. It's
you.
fresh water. It is grapefruit, sandalwood, and spice maritime.
Oh.
Yeah. I want you to take a smell. Get the audience.
I do.
Your reaction there.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yes.
Okay, I'm saving it for when you come to your first lesson, and I will burn it.
I'm going to hold her to this, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, and on that note, Miss Connie, it's been quite the pleasure having you here on this show. Please don't be a stranger. We're going to have her back. We're going to have her back. Listen, I love you for watching. See you in the next one.